Let me introduce myself. My name is Rebecca and I was here in Rhyolite from the start, and what a wild wonderful beginning it was. Now, I have to tell you, it was not my idea to come here. My husband liked to follow the gold strikes. He used to say, where there were miners, there were saloons. Where there were saloons, there would be shootings, and his service as a doctor would most definitely be needed. Well, that's a man's logic for you, isn't it? Now then, I have gotten off the subject, haven't I? People say Shorty Harris and his partner Red Cross started it all when they found gold in August of 1904. Now Shorty was a character, and a story all by himself. He drank a little too much of the old Be Joyful, and started bragging about his gold strike. It didn't take long for people to start moving here like ducks going south. They started tent towns all over the valley as the miners looked for gold. If you look down in the valley there at the Red Barn, yes, that's the one. You can still see the old ice house and the old jail from Bullfrog. That is where it all started. Rhyolite was platted in January of 1905 by the Bush brothers. The town was growing fast. By early 1906 there were over 3,000 residents. Permanent structures were replacing our tent homes and businesses. By 1908 there were over 8,000 residents and things were looking good. Come on now, let's go look at what is left to Rhyolite today. Don't be shy, this will be fun. Let's start here at the Goldwell Open Air Museum. Just as you drive into Rhyolite on the left-hand side, I'll bet you are wondering what these ghost figures are doing here. What better place for ghosts than in a ghost town? They really are magnificent statues. Albert Zugalski came to Rhyolite in 1984 from Belgium. He created the Last Supper using volunteers from the town of Beatty 4 miles away. These are called live cast statues because Albert used real people to mold them. Along with his friends from Belgium, he created this wonderful sculpture park. Now on to the bottle house. Yes, it is really made out of bottles. This is Tom Kelly, the one in the doorway. He started building this house in September of 1905. He finished it in February of 1906. Mr. Kelly used over 30,000 bottles to build a beautiful 3-room house. Everyone laughed and had a grand time as they brought their old bottles here for Mr. Kelly to build with, and my goodness, there were over 53 saloons here. So there were plenty of bottles. Mr. Kelly never lived here. He raffled it off for $5 a ticket and made a nice tidy profit. The house was won by the Bennett family. Through the years several people have occupied the bottle house. The Thompson family took care of the bottle house for 35 years. Talking to visitors and sharing tales of Rhyolite, they saved the bottle house and Rhyolite for future generations to enjoy. Let's take a look at what the bottle house looks like today. The town of Rhyolite is now managed by the Bureau of Land Management. They rehabilitated the bottle house in 2006, so it will stand another 100 years. Oh my goodness! Has it been that long? Now, I know you children will be interested in the next stop. The Rhyolite Schoolhouse. This was the first school built in Rhyolite. It was a one-room wooden structure built in 1906. It was a wonderful little school. But it blew off its foundations during a windstorm. School was held in the county hospital until a new school was built in 1909. Isn't it beautiful? This school was opened in January of 1909. At the cost of $20,000. It had a galvanized Spanish-style roof and 2 stories of fireproof concrete. It was a wonderful modern school. Here it is in the early 1920s. Rhyolite was already a ghost town and crumbling rather quickly. Next we will see what the school looks like today. The roof is gone, so are the windows and doors. In the desert everything is recycled. The citizens of Beatty took the roof, the bell, the doors and windows. It was used to build the first schoolhouse in Beatty. And it is still there today. Well, on to the next building. This was the first substantial building in Rhyolite. It is called the Overberry Building. Mr. Overberry had this structure built in 1907. He had a dream of having the largest building in Rhyolite. He paid local masons $1 an hour to build it from stone cut from a quarry just north of town. Can you imagine $1 an hour in 1907? Oh my, but that was a lot of money. The Bishop Jewelry Store was also here. You could get the finest jewelry right out of New York City. This is what it looks like today. You can still see the special stone that Mr. Overberry used. You can still pass through the large entrance doors. Of course, they are only stone pillars now. Well now, the next building is a little more practical. It belongs to the Porter brothers. Let's go shopping. This store was built in 1906. You could buy just about anything here: mining supplies, canned foods, pillows and blankets. Well, anything but whiskey. The Porter brothers were hard workers, but one of them was a practical joker. Excuse me, what's your dog there? You may be sorry if you let him get too close to that pipe. Let me tell you a story so you'll understand. One of the more prominent ladies from Nob Hill would walk her poodle every day by the Porter brothers store, and every day he would hike his leg and relieve himself right there. On that pipe. See it? You can't miss it, the one right in the center. Anyway, the young Porter boy decided to teach the dog a lesson. He coiled a copper wire around the pole, hooked it up to a battery, and the next time the poodle used it he got quite a shock. It is hard to think about it without laughing. The last they were seen was a ball of fur running towards Bullfrog. Of course, there was no permanent damage to the dog. The Porter brothers were not mean, just mischievous. Here we are in the 1930s. You can see that the Porter brothers store is already starting to crumble. This is what the store looks like today. You can still see the beautiful, engraved sign that graced this building. Now we will go see the famous Cook Bank, the largest building in Rhyolite. No matter where you are standing you could see this building. This building cost over $90,000 to build. It had marble floors, mahogany woodwork, electric lights, telephone. It even had indoor plumbing. That means the privies were inside the building. Oh, but you know that, don't you? They just had everything you could put into a modern building. The Rhyolite National Bank eventually took over the first floor. Lawyers and other businesses were on the second and third floors, with the post office in the basement. Well, here we are today. It is still rather magnificent. Don't you think? The Cook Bank is the most photographed ruin in Rhyolite today. Now off to the railroad depot. This is the Las Vegas, Tonopah, Railroad Depot, completed in June of 1908. What is really impressive is that this building is built of concrete blocks and full-gauge train rails, and it cost $130,000 to build. The first train into Rhyolite was in December of 1906. We had 3 railroad lines in Rhyolite. The Goldfield Bullfrog and the Tonopah Tidewater were the other 2. In fact, there were enough side tracks to have 100 cars just sitting there. I've seen this old building do many things. In the 1930s, the new owners turned it into a casino. It didn't do so well, but it kept the building from collapsing. It has been privately owned and used for many years. Here is the depot today. It is owned by the Bureau of Land Management and no longer open to the public. Well, one more stop on the tour. This is the Rhyolite Jail. The one that no one ever broke out of. But it was broken into, twice. It was built out of necessity. The only jail before 1907 was the one in Bullfrog. It cost the town 25 cents a day to keep the prisoners there. That was a lot of money. After this one was built, the one in Bullfrog was turned into a dog pound. This is the jail today. The judges' chambers are gone, but the prisoner cells are still there. I hope that you have had a good time with our little tour of Rhyolite, Nevada. Remember, you can visit us anytime you are in the Death Valley area. Stay in Beatty and enjoy the desert. If you would like to learn more about a town that went from 2010s to the 3rd largest city in Nevada by 1908, then visit us online at http://www.rhyolitesite.com. You all come back and visit us again. I'll see you in Rhyolite, Nevada. Bye for now.